Have you ever sat down to do your homework knowing you need to get started, but your brain just says, no?
It's like there's this weird invisible wall between knowing you should start and then actually starting. You're just sitting there, the assignment is waiting, but your mind keeps saying, not yet, maybe in a minute.
Well, that feeling, that invisible wall, it actually has a name. It's called the activation barrier. And in this lesson, we're going to look at how to get over that wall in the smallest, most manageable way possible. So what exactly is this activation barrier? Let's break it down. If you're following along in your workbook, you'll see this is the first question on your lesson 2.1 page.
Think of the activation barrier as the mental friction you feel between doing nothing and taking that very first step. It's that heavy feeling right before you begin, where even a small task can feel way, way bigger than it really is.
Now, what's really important to understand is that this isn't a sign that you're lazy or that something is wrong with you. It's simply your brain's natural response to switching modes, which, takes energy.
See, when you're not working, your brain is kind of in a rest mode. Opening a document or reading directions, that takes effort. Your brain doesn't know yet if this is going to be difficult or easy, so it tries to protect you by hesitating, and that's why you get that little spike of resistance in the first few minutes.
So the most important thing is to get this definition down for yourself. In your workbook, go ahead and write your own version in that first box. You can use the one on the screen as a guide. Pause here and do that now.
Okay, so we've named the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. And this brings us to a core strategy for getting past that barrier. The technique we're going to use is called micro time blocking, and it's incredibly simple. All you do is use a tiny time box, usually about 2 minutes, just to get started. The key thing to remember here is that the goal is not to finish the assignment, it's just to begin.
That tiny block of time is really powerful because it lowers the activation barrier. Your brain doesn't have to agree to a whole long work session. It only has to agree to 120 seconds. We call this the start anyway move. Even if you don't feel ready or motivated, you commit to doing just 2 minutes of one tiny specific action. You just pick one small entry move and you just begin.
Over in your workbook, find the question, what does start anyway mean? You can write something simple like, it means I do a tiny first step for 2 minutes, even if I don't feel like it yet. Go ahead and pause here to fill that in.
All right, now let's see how this builds into a practical system that you can actually use today. We're going to move into the Apply It section of your workbook together.
First, in step 1, I want you to think of one real task you've been putting off. Maybe it's that English paper, a math practice set, or that one assignment you're trying to ignore. In the box that says Task, write down the name of that specific task and what class it's for. Okay, now for step 2, choosing your 2-minute entry move. The whole goal here is to pick just one simple move from this list, or come up with your own that feels incredibly easy to do in 2 minutes or less. It could be as simple as just opening the document and reading the directions. Go ahead and write your choice on the line in your workbook.
This next part, this is the most important step in the entire system. After your 2 minutes are up, you need to check in with yourself.
So here's the rule. After those 2 minutes, you don't judge yourself. You just notice how you feel. And then you choose your next move from a place of awareness, not from a place of pressure.
Usually you'll fall into one of 3 categories. If you feel a little better or clearer and the task seems less scary, that's a good sign. Keep going for 5 more minutes. If you feel about the same, that's okay too. Just shrink the task again and do just 2 more minutes of another tiny step. But if you feel worse, more stressed or irritated or foggy, that is a very different kind of signal.
And this is a core idea of the whole system. Feeling worse is a signal, not a failure. It means you are not in the focused zone, and pushing harder is actually the wrong move. It can shove you into overdrive or even breakdown.
This is when you use your backup moves. Option A is a body reset, like stretching or taking a slow breath. B is to reduce the load and make the task even smaller. C is to switch to a related maintenance task, like organizing your notes. And D is to get support. Maybe ask a teacher for help with just the first step. In your workbook, choose one reset for each option that feels realistic for you. Near the bottom of the page, you'll see the Systems Model Quick Check. This is just for you to notice which state you're in when you're avoiding a task. Are you in stall, just feeling drained, or maybe drift, where you're distracted? Or are you pushing into overdrive or breakdown? Just put a check next to the one that fits you most often. So, let's bring it all together. The main idea is this. The activation barrier is that mental hill between doing nothing and starting something. And that Start Anyway 2-minute move is a tool to help you gently cross that hill without waiting for motivation to show up on its own.
Okay, take a moment now to finish up your Lesson 2.1 page in the workbook. The real goal here isn't just to fill in the blanks, it's to help you notice what actually works for you, so you have a tool you can use again and again.
In our next lesson, we're going to zoom out from these tiny 2-minute blocks and look at something called macro time blocking, how to plan your entire day in energy chunks that actually match your real life. You're not just learning to try harder, you're learning how your brain and time really work.